Hi there, Chris Hamilton here, one of the co-owners of EnterMyInvoice.com and BookkeepingAutomation.com. And I'm glad you could take this video in today. Literally, I'm going to go through a simple 4-step process on how to leverage the power of referrals with LinkedIn to gain more qualified clients for your bookkeeping business or your accounting practice. And literally, how do people go after business? I've talked to a lot of bookkeepers, and I mean, they will pick up the phone and try to cold call to try to get in the door to get clients. And I'll tell you why this doesn't work. Baylor University did a report called "Has Cold Calling Gone Cold?" where they tracked salespeople on their endeavors to book meetings. And it tracked Keller Williams realtor offices in the southwest part of the U.S. And there's over 6,000 phone calls made, and only 28% of the people answered. The shocking part of this is these real estate agents were only able to book 19 appointments, or if you take a look at the on the total, that's 0.3% on the total amount of phone calls it made that went in. Basically, 1% on all the answered calls that came in the door. So, flip this around. 99+% of the time, you're absolutely wasting your efforts by picking up the phone and making cold calls. Doesn't amount to anything and really is going to get you nowhere. It's a waste of time. So I'm going to show you some mind-blowing facts, and this will start changing your perception about how to go after business. I use this for our companies, Bookkeeping Automation, and also Enter My Invoice, this whole process, and it works extremely well and generates a lot of qualified sales opportunities and sales coming in the door for me. So first off, I'm going to start with some of these mind-blowing facts. So according to the Word of Mouth Marketing Organization, only 11% of salespeople or entrepreneurs or business owners have any form of a referral network or even ask for referrals. Yet 65% of salespeople or of all sales come from word of mouth or referrals, which means 89% of salespeople, entrepreneurs, and such are going after 35% of sales. So first off, you should be thinking about doing referrals to generate more business for your company. Now, the other thing too is when you take those numbers that I just talked to you about, when you work them out as a person who gets referrals versus a person who is simply waiting for leads to come in or cold calling or whatever they're doing, people that ask for referrals have 15 times more opportunities walking in the door. Once again, if you put this in a percentage factor, it is 94% more opportunities coming in the door for them through a referral process. Now, the other thing too about referrals is that they generate on average about 14% more revenue per client that you bring on. And they close at double the rate. Normal rate for sales close at about 25%. Referrals typically close at 50%. Now, the other thing too is it takes up to a quarter of the time to close a sale. And the reason being is that you're leveraging someone else's trust who's referring you into someone that they know who trusts them. And you shorten that sales cycle because of the fact that there's a trust level that's already built into that sales process. So this will help you, when you start applying all these factors, gain upwards of 137 times more revenue for your company. So if you're taking the fact that you're getting 15 times here, you're getting a double there, you're closing a quarter of the time, you've got 14% more revenue. When you start adding all those up together, compared to people who do not have a referral process, 137 times more revenue opportunity for you. If you take the revenue part out of it, what happens is it means you could be upwards of 120 times more productive bringing in opportunities for your business. So one of the things that we look at, and this sets the foundation for this whole kind of video here, is leveraging the world's largest business network, which is LinkedIn, plus looking at how you can get referrals from people that you're connected to into second level connections, which ultimately is going to lead to a lot of success. And I'll tell you what, I use this process and I've used it for numerous years, and it works. It gets meetings. It gets lots of opportunities into your pipeline. It gets more clients walking in the door. So listen up and I'll teach you this secret that I use. So here's the agenda. I'm going to go through what I call the digital referral process, which is a 4-step process. Then I'm going to show you a few LinkedIn tips and tricks that you may not know about that allows you to go find some better qualified sales prospects for your business. Now, here's the 4 steps. First thing you need to get is a targeted list. Second thing you need to do is build some sort of tracking mechanism so that when you've built this list, you can start tracking these people that you're trying to get in front of. Then what you want to take a look at is what I call the digital referral in action, which is leveraging your first level connections or people you're directly connected to on LinkedIn and getting meetings or getting introductions into second level connections, which are people that you're not connected to, but that your first level connections are connected to. And last but not least, you got to have a follow-up process. This is not a one and done. It's if you can't find a way in with one person to get into a second level connection, try to find another way. There's multiple ways that you could do this on LinkedIn. So first of all, we're going to talk about step 1, your ideal client list or your target client list. So first thing I'm going to teach you is something that you probably don't know about, but I want to teach you how to become a LinkedIn search ninja. And there's literally only 5 things that you need to know to become a LinkedIn search ninja. And how you do this, first things first, is you have to use the advanced people search on LinkedIn. And how you find that? At the very top of LinkedIn, there's right beside the search box, beside the little magnifying glass that says advanced. If you click on that, this window pops up, which is the advanced people search window. And there's a bunch of different parameters on it that you can use. Now, first tip, ninja tip here, is using quotes. And this is when you're trying to get an exact phrase. So for example, in here, I've got vice president in quotes. If I didn't have quotes, LinkedIn starts looking at, they will bring back presidents, they'll bring back vice chairmen, they'll bring back vice counsel, they'll bring back whatever as it's related to those words. By putting quotes around it, it's saying you want to see only things with that specific term in it, which would be vice president. So there's your first ninja LinkedIn search tip. Here's your second one, using brackets. So this is when you're starting to combine terms and modifiers. And I'll get into modifiers here in a couple of seconds. But literally in this case, I'm looking for a vice president and they have to have sales or marketing in their title. So it says, look for vice president sales or vice president marketing in this case. Next one, these are the modifiers. So this is LinkedIn Ninja Tips 3, 4, and 5. So the modifiers are and, or, and not. And it's important when you use these that they have to be in the uppercase. So and is when you're searching for 2 terms that need to be included. So for example, in this case, I've got vice president in quotations, sales and marketing. So it's going to look for vice president, sales and marketing. If you're using the next one, which is or, and once again, it has to be in an uppercase, this is when you're going to start broadening your search. So the example I have here is vice president in quotations or in capitals VP, because sometimes people use that condensed version instead of vice president, they use VP. And then what happens is in quotations again, sales and marketing. So I'm looking for vice presidents of sales and marketing or VP sales and marketing. And it's going to bring back a lot more results for you. For example, when I did a search a while back on LinkedIn, I looked up vice president sales and marketing, and I literally only got 35 results come back in the Calgary marketplace. Now, the other thing too is when I used it and I added in VP and I put that term at the very end, I ended up on the exact same day, about 2 minutes later when I did this search, almost 2,200 results came back. So if I hadn't done that, I could have potentially missed out on 2,164 potential people to be going after on LinkedIn as potential sales opportunities for myself. So next, and the last LinkedIn Ninja search tip is not. So this is when you're trying to exclude a term. So in the case where I want to find a vice president of sales, not marketing, I just simply put vice president in quotations, sales, uppercase not, marketing, and it's just going to bring back people that have vice president sales. Some of the benefits of using these 5 LinkedIn Ninja search tactics. First of all, most people have a free account. So when you get a free account, you only get 100 results that come back when you do a search. And a premium account, you could get 1,000 plus coming back and you get to look at all of them. But in a free account, you only get to look at the 100 that they bring back. So you're not wasting the amount of search results that you get back. So you're spending less time searching, and on top of it, you're getting better results coming in the door. So that is kind of the first part of finding that targeted list, which is becoming that search ninja on LinkedIn. If you want to take a look at figuring out how you can do this, or want a cheat sheet, simply go to Google and type in Boolean Search Tips LinkedIn, Boolean Search Tips LinkedIn, and you'll end up with this sheet. And it's a quick one-page cheat sheet that you can use to walk you through that process. So, part 2 of creating a list, or finding that targeted clientele list that you want to be going after, is getting the laser focus list. So I teach you how to be a LinkedIn search ninja. Now you got to think about, who am I going to go after? So you need to start thinking about, what's the role of a person, what's the geography, and what's the size of their company, maybe what their industry is. So in this case, I took a look at what are some of the highest paid jobs in Canada. And I found that engineering manager is one of the higher paying jobs in Canada. In fact, it's in the number 9 position. And because of that, I want to go and search on that. So I go into LinkedIn. So once again, I hit that advanced search. I put engineering manager and I put it in quotations so that it only brings back engineering manager people. I select second level connections. I could put first level connections. So once again, second level connections are people that you're not necessarily connected to, but your direct connections, your first level connections, are connected to. And you want to leverage your first level connections to get in the door or get referred into these second level connections. Then I put in my location. If I have a premium account, I can funnel it down even further if I felt like it. And literally what happens is, it brought back 162 results for second level people that have an engineering manager title in their current job title. And so for me, if I was going after engineering managers, for example, this would bring back 162 potential sales prospects that I could be going after. Now, that's the first step. So figuring out, using the 5 LinkedIn ninja search tactics, and then starting to use the advanced people search to identify your list. Now, once you start getting these people, what you need to do is start putting a tracking mechanism in place, because you're going to reach out to these people on a consistent basis if you can. And it's going to be, every 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever you determine. But reaching out on a regular basis, that's key to getting business. You don't do it once and then forget about going after those people. So in this case, I've built a Google Doc or a Google spreadsheet that tracks a bunch of different things, like a contact name, their LinkedIn URL, what company they're with, their title, their location. Do I have any connections? And, who are those connections? I have a date that I've contacted. I've got notes against this person. I can talk about results. Did I get a meeting? Did I not get a meeting? And then column J over again is then, okay, that's my second go round when I start reaching out to these people and trying to get in to see them. So once again, once we look at this engineering managers from the example that we had before, and I bring back the results, what I could do is start putting these people into my spreadsheet and start tracking them. So in this case, if you take a look, I've got the person's name, I've got their LinkedIn URL, their company would go there, their title, their location. Then I start putting in the people that I'm connected with. So I may have one connection, I may have several connections, I may not have anyone close that I could reach out to. But in these cases, what you can do is leverage certain connections to get into the vast majority of the people that you're trying to get into. So when it comes to connections, trying to figure out how you're connected to someone, how you do this is, when you're looking at a potential prospect, what you do is you scroll down on their LinkedIn account, and down near the bottom of their LinkedIn account, typically you're going to see connections. And where you're going to see is, you're going to see a list of the people that you are connected to that's connected to this person. So these are your first level connections that can introduce you into the second level, or the person that you're trying to go after. And in this case, if I was going after this person, I could potentially use my buddy Stephen Liebert. I could use Ravi Pawa. I could use Marty Park. I could use Sakib as well. And these are just the 4 people that are sitting on this list that I could leverage to get in the door to be connected to this person. So now we've talked about how to find the targeted list. We've also talked about how to start tracking that list. Now we're going to take a look at how do I actually reach out to these second level connections through my first level connections, which I call the digital referral. So here's the digital referral in action. So once again, I'm using my advanced people search. I'm trying to find specific people in a specific geographical area with a certain title. When I hit that, what happens is it brings back a whole bunch of results for me. In this case, I got 114 results. Now, I'm going to go down, I'm going to take a look at Gary Leach here. And let's say I want to get introduced to Gary and talk to him because he is a VP of sales and marketing at a specific company that I may want to reach out to. So what I do is when I look at Gary's profile, just below the city and the industry he's in is something that says shared connections. So in this case, I have 16 shared connections. When I click on that, LinkedIn displays 3 potential connection ways that I could get in to see Gary. So there's at least 2 people on this of these 3 that I could get into see or get an introduction to Gary. But let's just pretend that I don't know these people well enough to give me an introduction. What I can do then is I can click on down below, it says view all 16. When I click on that, it brings up a page with all 16 people that are connected in there. And then I could go through and find different people that I might be able to leverage to get me in to meet or to make an introduction into Gary. So in this case, here's what I would do. I would send my connection an email. I wouldn't use LinkedIn to do it. I would send it directly through email. And here's what you could do. The title line could be, "Can you help me out?" Then the body of the email, what you're going to do is you're going to explain to them what you're doing and why you're doing it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to write a note or an email, templated email for that person to send off. And the reason why you do this is because if you think about it, put in your shoes, is that if someone reached out to you and says, "Hey, I know you didn't know this person, can you introduce me?" Then that means, oh, geez, I got to think about this. I got to write a referral email. You know what? I don't have the time for this stuff. I'm not going to do it, right? If you take the guesswork out of it and do it for someone else or do it for somebody, you know what? It's easy. It's a copy the subject line and then it's a copy the email body and put it into an email and send it off. It takes the person all about 10, 15 minutes or 10, 15 seconds to do that. So in this case, here's the top part. It says, "Hello, and this is to your first level connection. I hope all is well. I was hoping you could help me out. I'm taking a new solution to different companies right now, and I was hoping that you can help me by making an introduction to this person at this company. The solution that we have, or the product, or whatever you want to say, helps companies like this person's company with," and then you insert a benefit in there. "Do you know this second level connection well enough to introduce me? If so, here's an intro you can use." And then you go subject line. "Introduction to Chris Hamilton," and then the email body. "Hello," whatever that person's name is. "A friend of mine reached out to me to see if I could introduce the two of you. His name is Chris Hamilton. I've known him for a while. Chris helps companies reduce costs, increase revenue, whatever it is with his product or service. He tells me that companies can typically increase revenue by X% or reduce costs by X%. He was hoping to get introduced to you, and I wanted to check with you first before connecting the two of you. Do you mind if I connect you? Regards," and then your name. And then down below, I usually put something like, "Hey, let me know if you don't mind doing this. I can tell you more about the process, the product, the service, the whatever it is," just so that they get a better understanding on that. So here's something that is of interest. By the time when I wrote this, I had only had 2 people in a 12-month period reach out to me to ask for an introduction. Now, yesterday after I finished this, I had 2 more people, so I had 4. But let's take a look at this. I usually, when I ask people for a referral, I usually get about a 30% of them will say yes and actually do it. Of those 30%, well, it's 30 to 40%, somewhere in that range. Of those 30 to 40%, I get up to 50% of these referrals into a meeting or at least into a conversation. So what's happening is I'm getting 15 to 20% hit rate on reaching out to people. Now, think about it this way, is that cold calling is only effective literally 0.3% of the time. If I'm getting a 15% or a 20%, I'm getting literally 50 times greater opportunities coming in, sales opportunities coming in the door just by doing this one thing. Huge upside for you if you do this. As I say, the best way to do this is to get an introduction through an email to the person. Don't use LinkedIn. So why does it work? Well, the digital referral has these things playing into its success. Is typical sales close at 25%, referrals close at 50%. So you got double the rate right there. Referrals convert at anywhere from 3 to 5 times better, 3 to 5 times faster as well. So huge potential right there. 65% of all new business is from referrals or word of mouth. Yet only 11% of salespeople ask for referrals. So I always say to people, it's 89% of people don't ask for referrals, yet referrals are responsible for 65% of all business and close at 2 to 4 times the average sale. That's crazy. So there we are. We've gone through the first part, which is basically creating that targeted list, having a tracking mechanism, looking at the digital referral in starting that digital referral process for you. And last but not least is a follow-up process. As I say, it's not a one and done. You need to actually continually be going back to people that you may not have been able to get introduced to or finding new people to put on your list. Basically, it's got to be a follow-up process. You got to do this every day. So literally, you need to set time aside every day, be it 10 minutes, be it an hour, be it whatever you want. You need to set time aside every day in order to be prospecting to grow your business. So here's a case where this is live. So this is the stuff that people that I've been reaching out to on a consistent basis for our accounts payable software. And what you can see is I've got certain results that have happened here. I've got other people that haven't done anything. So I need to just keep going. So as I showed you in my spreadsheet earlier on, to the right-hand side is where you start putting in month number 2 or, second go around, third go around, fourth go around, fifth go around. You have to just keep going at people to try to generate or get in the door to meet with them and get the business. So just some tips on this. I always tell people, review your spreadsheet every 30 days to make sure nothing's kind of falling through the cracks. Secondly, reach out to people who you didn't get a connection request from. So if I went and requested a buddy of mine to introduce me to a person, I can go back to that person, my buddy, and say, hey, I sent you an email about a month ago asking you to introduce me to this person. I know you're busy. This may have fallen off your plate type thing. Would you mind doing it again? And ask them that way. If that doesn't work, then what I'll do is I'll find another way to get in to see this person. And last but not least is I always look at, you need to continue the cycle of looking at profiles. People are going to look at your profile. You need to be looking at other people's profiles. You need to be bringing people into the fold and continually filling up this whole prospecting side of your business as well. So once again, I'm going to review the 4 steps. First thing is targeted list. Second is building your tracking mechanism. Third is approaching second level connections through your first level connections or the digital referral. And last but not least is a follow-up process. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give an example of this in a real world setting. So let's think about a dentist or going after dentists for bookkeeping services, or it could be accounting services. So first thing you want to do is identify dentists. So I go into my advanced people search. In this case, what I did was in the keywords section, I put dentist, and in the title, I put owner. And the reason why I did that is because I want to just target owners that are dentists of dental clinics, because they're the ones that can make the decisions on this sort of stuff. And so I'm looking for anyone that's a first level, second level, or a group member in this case, and in Calgary where I live. And when I do that, it finds 83 people on LinkedIn that I could be going after that I've got that kind of level of connection with. And so what I'll do is, let's pretend we're going to go after Steve here. When I click on that down arrow just below Calgary, Alberta, Calgary, Canada area, it brings up 3 people. The second person there, Steve Mackey, is a good friend of mine, and I can reach out to Steve and say, hey, Steve, do you mind introducing me to this other Steve who's a dentist, and use that whole letter to get myself in the door with this person. So long story short, in this case, I got 80 plus potential opportunities that I could be going after for bookkeeping services. Once again, I tell you, very few people do this. Apart from the fact that I finished this presentation yesterday, I had 2 more people come to me, so I've had 4 in about the last 12 months. But just prior to, when you look at this, I had 2 people reach out to me for intros. That's 0.06% of my total connections. So why this works, I know it works. I use it religiously. And what it's showing to me is no one else is doing this. So you're really going to be cutting edge on this sort of stuff. So if you want to go after and get more business for your bookkeeping or accounting practice, this is a phenomenal way to do it. I'll tell you what, if you need help with it, you reach out to me, Chris Hamilton, 403-630-1243, and I'll help you with that. So here we are. I'm going to go into some tips and tricks, and we're getting close to the end here. First tip is when you're searching on LinkedIn and you pull people's profiles up. So in this case, I'm looking at my buddy Steve Elliott's profile. Down the right-hand side, you're going to see LinkedIn will display people also viewed. Now, interestingly enough, there's a correlation between Steve and these people. So here's LinkedIn presenting some potential sales opportunity or sales prospects to you or clients that you could be getting on. So make sure you look down that side, and then what you do is you just click on these people and just see if they make sense to be a prospect for you or not. Next one is even further down below that, you're going to see people are similar to. So LinkedIn's actually promoting other people that are similar to the person that's profile you're looking at right now. So there's a correlation between that as well. So great way to get some opportunities. The third tip I'm going to show you is one that is absolutely underutilized in LinkedIn. And when you go into LinkedIn, when you look at connections, so you go into somebody's profile. So what you would do is you take a look and say, I've got people that are more than likely will connect me with other people. So go to their profile. When you scroll down on LinkedIn, you're going to see their connections. Now, this doesn't work all the time, but probably about 70-80% of the time, it's set up such that you'll be able to search on their connections to try to see who they're connected to. Now, what you do is in the upper right-hand corner, if it's set up properly, you're going to see a little search box. You can put a title in there. When you click on that, what it does is it brings up the results. And when you click on the advanced search, then it brings it over into a page that opens up. Now, it will clear out some of the results and try to give you the most relevant results. If you want to see all 45, like I have on the left-hand side here, then all you got to do is just click below where the arrow is. It says show all results. If you click on that, it'll bring up all 45. Now, this is a great way. So, for example, I could go to my buddy Randy McCord and say, hey, Randy, I know these CFOs here, all these CFOs. Do you mind making introductions for me? And Randy is the kind of guy that would be like, sure. And I just send him a templated email and he does it for me. So this is a great way to drive some potential business for yourself as well. The other one too that works really well is trying to see who's viewed your profile. So people come and find you for a reason on LinkedIn. And when they find you, they're looking for something specific, right? So what you do, go into across the top of LinkedIn, go into profile. It says who has viewed your profile, and then you could see if you have a free account, the last 5 people that viewed your profile. I have a premium account. I can see the last 90 days, so I get to see anywhere kind of between 450 and 600 different people that have looked at my profile. Then what you want to do is you can, if you want to connect with the person, click on their picture or click on their name, but don't hit that connect button down at the bottom, because what happens when you hit that, it just sends an automatic message off to them that you can't personalize. You click on the picture, click on their name. Then what happens is you're brought to their profile. Then what you do is you click connect. And then what you do is you invite them to connect with you on LinkedIn, but add a personal note in there. So what I would do in this case is I would say, Breton, saw that you came by my profile, obviously for a reason. More than happy to jump on the phone with you and discuss if there's anything that I can help you with. In the meantime, I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. Hopefully you'll accept, something like that, and then just send the invitation off, and you'll be amazed at how many people actually accept your invitation. The other thing you want to take a look at, tip number 5, is save searches. And so if you use the advanced people search and you get a search in a specific way that you like it, then what you do in the upper right-hand corner is you could save those search results. And what this does is it allows you to name those saved searches. And then what you could do if it's a people search, then you can get LinkedIn to send you a weekly email of anybody who has changed anything in their profile based around the parameters that you've put in there. Now, why is this important? Is that people that are in a brand new position, within the first 3 months, they're 10 times more likely to try a new product or service. And so in this case, let's take a look at, let's use, for example, if you use an advanced people search and you find owner and it's in energy services businesses or something like that. You could set up a search around that kind of term, and then you could go and get emails coming from you from LinkedIn on a weekly basis that shows you potential new owners of businesses, at which time you could reach out to them and say, hey, I see that you're new with this business, would like to discuss how I might be able to help you out with some of your accounting, bookkeeping, cash flow needs, whatever it is that you have, and reach out to that person. Great way to generate sales leads for your business. Last but not least, one of the best ways to find out how to reach someone is by using a little known tip there as well. There's, in certain people's profiles, they have advice for reaching out to them. So I'm using my buddy Randy McCord here again. In his profile, he has his phone number and not only that, his email address, saying, hey, if you want to reach out to me, contact me on this phone number or reach me on this email address. And that's how you can reach out to him. So here's where I found some of the statistics in this. A lot of them come from Word of Mouth Marketing Association. There's a lot from other things as well here. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to find out more, if you want me to help you, if you want me to guide you through some of this stuff, more than happy to. You can reach out to me, chris.hamilton@entermyinvoice.com. And also you can reach me on my phone at 403-630-1243. More than happy to help you out with any of this stuff. Please take a look at bookkeepingautomation.com and also entermyinvoice.com. Bookkeepingautomation.com is designed for bookkeepers and accountants with multiple clients. Entermyinvoice.com is meant for single end user corporations. We do have a referral network in place that pays money on a monthly basis for any sales that you bring in the door. Very lucrative, and we're more than happy to share the wealth with people that help us out. Last but not least, you know what? Reach out and connect with me on LinkedIn. If you really want to find me, all you got to do is find Chris Hamilton in Calgary on LinkedIn. I should be the first person that pops up. If not, it's ca.linkedin.com/in/Chris Hamilton CA. Thank you very much for taking this in. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.